The Duke carefully lifts a spoonful of food and gently brings it to the princess's lips, his grin so unnervingly wide it could make a jester reconsider his career choices. She takes a bite, chews thoughtfully, then nods with delight, assuring him that it's absolutely perfect. Across the table, they sit facing each other, the young lady savoring every bite of her blissful meal, while the Duke watches with a mix of satisfaction and that ever-present eerie smile. Something is freaky about this setting. After a while, he comments on the chilly air creeping into the room. Without hesitation, he shrugs off his thick coat and drapes it over her shoulders like a gentleman from a storybook, preventing even the tiniest cold breeze from reaching her. She clutches the warm fabric, feeling a bit like a treasured relic in a glass case, precious, protected, and mildly overwhelmed. Expressing her gratitude, she flashes a soft smile, and for a fleeting moment, the atmosphere could almost be mistaken for something straight out of a romance novel. That's definitely not it. Minutes pass before he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small bell, placing it delicately in her hands. He instructs her to ring it the moment she requires anything, his tone laced with the kind of seriousness that makes it seem like this bell holds the power to summon the gods themselves. It's crazy, her. The princess grasps it tightly, her fingers wrapping around it with an intensity that suggests it's no ordinary object, but rather the key to her very survival. With that, the Duke turns on his heel, making his way toward the exit, his cape, because of course he has a cape, billowing dramatically behind him. Just as he's about to leave, the princess, driven by an impulse she doesn't quite understand, springs forward, calling out for him to wait. However, before she can take a single step closer, something yanks her backward with an unforgiving force. In an instant, she finds herself meeting the floor in an unfortunate display of gravity's cruelty. Her chains had kept her from moving any further. Silence fills the room, thick and suffocating, before it's shattered, not by a dramatic thunderclap, though that would be fitting, but by the unmistakable sound of Jayna's dignity crumbling into dust. She grips the cold metal chain binding her, panic-lacing her voice as she pleads for freedom, for mercy, for literally anything other than this. But Mercy is apparently on vacation, because the Duke just stares at her, expression as warm as an ice sculpture at a summer festival. His gaze darkens, that villainous aura practically rolling off him in waves. Seriously, someone should check if he's legally required to register it as a hazardous material. He takes a step closer, his voice dripping with the kind of certainty that makes fate itself take notes. Jayna will never step outside this room again. Ever. Period. And the way he says it. He acts like he's doing her a favor, like she should be thanking him for her brand new, heavily fortified accommodations. According to him, she will be happy. Whether she likes it or not. Love? Obsession? Whatever this is, it's definitely got a membership card to the Evil Villains Club. A slow, wicked grin stretches across his face, the kind of smile that could haunt even the bravest of souls, or at the very least, fuel a lifetime of therapy bills. He says her name, Jayna, softly, almost tenderly, like a lover would. It would be sweet if it weren't horrifically unsettling. The moment lingers, the air so thick with his twisted version of affection that it might as well be fog. And then, bam, the door slams shut with a force that rattles the very walls, as if even the building itself is nervous. The chained princess throws herself against the door, her desperate cries filling the empty halls. Again and again, she pleads for mercy, for freedom, for anything but this cruel fate. But outside, Theo does not stop. He does not turn back. He does not hesitate. His steps are unhurried, like a man on a casual stroll through the park, except instead of feeding birds or admiring flowers, he's just locked away a helpless young woman, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Diabolical. Her screams continue, bouncing off the grand walls, but no one comes to her aid. No knights, no servants, no saviors. Only silence answers her suffering. What's running through his mind? Simple. She belongs to him. She can't escape his love. Is this love? Or it's an unholy obsession. And just like that, the screen fades to black. A sigh escapes the lips of our real protagonist, the female gamer staring unimpressed at her laptop screen. A half-empty bag of snacks sits beside her, as she slowly crunches another bite, deep in thought over the bad ending she's just witnessed. She squints at the game's final scene, eyebrows furrowing in confusion. This is a bad ending. Doesn't meet her standards maybe. She leans back, arms crossed, replaying it in her head. The princess is well fed, dressed in the finest clothes, kept in a luxurious room. And the male lead, handsome, rich, and completely devoted to her. Sure, the whole permanent captivity thing is a little questionable, but is it really the worst fate imaginable? She takes another bite of her snack, mulling it over. Yeah, nope, she mutters to herself. I've seen worse. Her phone buzzes on the desk, but she doesn't move right away. Instead, she stares blankly at the ceiling, letting out a long, dramatic sigh. That can't be the end, she thinks. She isn't satisfied. She wants more. More of the story, more of the twisted romance, more of that ridiculously devoted Duke with his questionable morals and even more questionable grin. More. As she ponders this, she absent-mindedly mutters to herself. All the princess had to do was eat good food and relax in a luxurious room for the rest of her life. That doesn't sound half bad. She sighs dreamily. Honestly. Sign me up. For a brief moment, she really considers it. A life of ease, free meals, and a devoted, albeit slightly unhinged, man catering to her every whim. Some people dream of being CEOs or world travelers. Meanwhile, I just want to be pampered in captivity. Is that so wrong? Okay, maybe that sounds a little crazy. Before she can get too deep into self-reflection, she finally grabs her phone, curiosity winning out. It's a response to the job application she submitted a while back. Instantly, excitement flares in her chest. This is it. The good news I've been waiting for. She opens the message. Her excitement dies faster than a background character in a horror movie. Rejected. She didn't get the job. The reason? Unprofessional conduct during the selection process. The words glare back at her from the screen, bold, final, and somehow personally offended. She doesn't blink. Doesn't even move. And then, slowly, her lips curve into a grin. Ah, yeah. That checks out. She remembers exactly what she did. Oh, she didn't just complain, she went full Karenat customer service mode. And not just the mild, can I speak to the manager, type. No. This was boss fight music playing in the background level rage. She had yelled at them. Loudly. Passionately, with the kind of energy that could scare a grown man into refunding a non-refundable purchase. And now? Well. Actions, consequences, yada yada. Does she regret it? Nope. Not even a little. Honestly, she didn't expect much from the job anyway. She lets out a short laugh, shrugs, and casually tosses her phone onto the couch like a pro athlete who just retired mid-game. Welp. That's life. And just like that, she moves on. No tears. No internal monologue about fate. Just an empty stomach and a singular, all-consuming thought, what's for dinner? After a quick grocery run, our girl exits the store, plastic bag in hand, when something outside catches her eye. Our female lead stops dead in her tracks, blinking in surprise. A huge ad is plastered on the wall across the street. And not just any ad, it's for the exact same game she was playing earlier. How to fall in love with the obsessed man. Our girl snorts. Well, that explains why it was so dramatic. Asterisk, a love simulation game about two characters, one hopelessly devoted, the other trapped in a room with said devotion. And here it is, advertised on a massive billboard for all the world to see. Good game, huh? Must be if they are throwing ads everywhere. Star. Our female lead hums thoughtfully, taking another look at the title. It is kind of wild. But now that she thinks about it, our girl wouldn't mind seeing what happens if she plays again. Jayna Blake, a princess bound by duty, finds herself in a marriage of convenience with Duke Theros Leah Crana. At first glance, Theo is the perfect male lead, breathtakingly gorgeous, brooding, and wrapped in an air of mystery. But to the world, he's a man to be feared, shunned by society because of his dark origins. Good reason for their fear and dread. He comes from North Saronia, a land riddled with demonic creatures and unspeakable evil, a place where nightmares walk freely. Then, one day, she appears, Jayna, a woman so warm and radiant she might as well have been hand-delivered by the heavens. Against all odds, she melts the Archduke's frozen heart. Love blooms between them, and soon, they carve out a seemingly blissful married life. But wait. There's a catch. Of course, there's always a catch. Theo's love doesn't just grow. It consumes. What starts as devotion spirals into something far more dangerous. An obsession so deep that escape is no longer an option. Because of this, the game boasts a staggering 50 different bad endings. The developers really outdid themselves with this one. Was it a stroke of genius? Or pure madness? Who even thinks of something like this? Regardless, our female lead absolutely adores this game. It's not just a hobby, it's her own personal, very unhealthy obsession. She thinks about it way too much. But can you blame her? A stunning, devoted male lead willing to go to extreme lengths to keep his beloved by his side forever. Where do I sign up? Then it happens. She freezes mid-step. A realization hits her like a bolt of lightning. I just said all of that out loud, didn't I? Our girl must look so crazy right now. A quick glance around confirms her worst fear. Passers-by are definitely staring. A group of women walking past whisper among themselves, shooting her sideways glances that scream, "Who is this crazy lady?" Panic bubbles in her chest, but she recovers almost instantly. With a flick of her hair, and a completely unnecessary dramatic turn, our female pretends like absolutely nothing happened and goes on her way. It's almost like she is unbothered. She is graceful. Our girl is distracted. Something from across the street catches her eye. A small figure, tiny and helpless. A kitten. It sits there, staring right at her, meowing as if it knows her, as if it's calling our finale lead specifically. Her lips tug into a soft smile. "Are you hungry tonight?" she calls out, lifting her grocery bag. "I bought something extra special for you." The kitten meows again, its little tail flicking. Then, to her horror, it moves. Not toward her from the sidewalk, but onto the road. A truck speeds down the street. Too fast. Way too fast. Her breath catches. Her heartbeat slams against her ribs like it's trying to break out and file a complaint. The moment stretches, somehow both crawling and racing at the same time. The kitten. Tiny. Helpless. In serious danger. Her brain doesn't process. Doesn't calculate risks. Doesn't even hesitate. She moves. Instinct takes over, and our female lead sprints. She lunges forward, arms outstretched, and, gotcha, grabs the kitten just in time. Relief floods her chest, until it doesn't. Until she realizes something else. Doom has arrived. The truck. It's close. Too close. Her breath hitches. Is this how it ends? Not in some grand adventure, not in some dramatic showdown, but because of bad timing and an unfortunate lack of street awareness. Well, that's unfortunate. A deafening crash. Everything goes blank. Darkness. Silence. And then, a scream. Our female lead jolts upright like she just got hit with a lightning bolt, hand flying up in sheer panic, heart pounding an aggressive drum solo against her ribs. What just happened? 1 minute, she was about to be aggressively removed from existence by a truck, the next, she's lying on a bed. A bed? Something is wrong. Very wrong. Her hands tremble as she lifts them to her face, because what else do you do when reality stops making sense? She scrambles to her feet, eyes darting around like she's in the middle of an escape room she definitely didn't sign up for. Ornate furniture. Elegant curtains. A mirror so massive it could probably double as a portal to another dimension. This is not her apartment. Her mind races, chaos dialed up to 11. The truck? The accident? The kitten? Where is it? Is it okay? Did she lose it? Is it hurt? Did it survive? The door slams open. Before she can react, something heavy smacks her straight in the face. Fabric. No, a dress. She stumbles back, catching it before it falls to the floor, eyes wide as a stranger storms into the room. Miss Jayna, the woman shouts, her voice shrill enough to break glass. You need to get dressed immediately. The dress. The overly fancy room. The absolute confidence in which this woman just called her Jayna. Her brain short-circuits. Hold on. What did you just call me? No way she heard that correctly. Our girl couldn't comprehend her own thoughts. The handmaiden's expression twists into something between frustration and disbelief. Have you forgotten what day it is? She demands. You're leaving for the Duke's castle today. The handmaiden huffs, clearly fed up, and storms out of the room, slamming the door with enough force to shake the walls. Left alone, our female lead stands there, still clutching the dress like it holds the answers to life itself. Her mind is a mess. Did our female lead really hear all of that correctly? The Duke's castle. Miss Jayna. She needs confirmation. Slow, hesitant steps lead her to the massive mirror across the room. Her throat runs dry as she whispers the name again, Jayna. The reflection staring back at her is not her. It's a beauty beyond mortal comprehension. Her eyes gleam like pink diamonds, dazzling and unreal. Her skin is so luminous and flawless it could make even the best skincare influencers weep. They couldn't touch this level of perfection. Her hair flows like silk, untouched by the horrors of cheap shampoo. Our girl leans in closer, studying every perfect detail. This is Jayna Blake. The same amazing character from the game. The same Jayna Blake who was supposed to marry Theo. Her breath quickens. Our girl's thoughts spiral. Wait, hold on, this can't be real. But then, a thought sneaks in. A wild, insane, absolutely unhinged thought. Is this an isekai? The realization crashes down like a meteor. Did she really die and get reborn as Jayna? Is she actually inside the game? The questions pile up, but before our female lead can even try to make sense of it, her excitement explodes. No way, no way, no way. She throws her arms in the air, eyes sparkling like a child on Christmas morning. Her ridiculous wish actually came true. The wish to live a life free of work, stress, and money problems. And best of all, a devoted, attractive male lead to pamper her every single day. Confinement ending. Oh, she welcomes it. She anticipates it. This is her dream life now. Is it just me, or is our female lead completely unhinged? She's definitely not the average young lady. Our female lead tears her gaze away from the mirror, her thoughts spiraling. Wait a second, this doesn't make sense. Mere minutes ago, she was in an accident, on the verge of becoming a tragic traffic statistic. So where is she now? She wanders on and on. Then, the thought hits her again, and her eyes sparkle like a kid who just found an extra fry at the bottom of the bag. Our girl's inside the game. And not just as some random background character, she's Jayna Blake. The stunning, delicate, pampered princess of the story. Her knees give out, and she drops to the floor. "Thank you, God," she cries, throwing her hands toward the heavens like our girls just won the lottery. "I promise to live this new life to the fullest. I'll be good. I won't even complain if my food's too salty." Our female lead practically vibrates with anticipation. If she's remembering the plot correctly, she's at the Blake mansion, and today is the day. Yes, a great day indeed. The day she's supposed to travel to Northern Saronia to marry Theo. Her new life begins now. Without wasting another second, she rushes to the closet, practically ripping the doors open. It's time to pack, and then, silence. Confusion. Horror. The closet is empty. Her entire body stiffens. Huh? Nothing. Not a single gown. No shoes, no accessories, not even a spare hairpin. Just pure, heartbreaking emptiness. It's so mind-blowing. And then, it dawns on her. In all her excitement, she completely forgot Jayna's backstory. Jayna's backstory isn't the fairy tale beginning one might expect. As an illegitimate child, she's despised, ignored, and outright bullied by nearly everyone in the Blake mansion, servants included. That's so sad. While the rest of the household basks in luxury, she has spent her life tucked away in a small, dusty attic room, practically a glorified storage closet. Crazy, right? Not exactly the dream life. But does our girl break down in sorrow? Does she crumble under the weight of her tragic past? Absolutely not. With a grin that would make even the most optimistic people nervous, she grabs hold of a suitcase, her empty suitcase, because let's be real, she has nothing to pack, and stands tall. All right, time to go live my best life. She marches out of her room, stepping into the grand hallway, and immediately stops. It's amazing. Her eyes widen as she takes in the mansion's scenery. The high ceilings. The expensive chandeliers. The walls adorned with fine paintings. The rich, luxurious carpets so soft they probably feel like clouds underfoot. It's breathtaking. Wild, wild stuff all around her. And she lived in a glorified broom closet. Wow. She whispers, taking it all in. They really went all out for everyone except me, huh? Shaking it off, she continues down the hall, eventually stopping at a grand set of doors. Taking a deep breath, she knocks. Inside are the Count and Countess Blake. Jayna's parents. Steeling herself, she gently pushes the door open and steps in. A mistake. The Count immediately narrows his eyes, scolding her before she even has a chance to breathe. Have you no manners? A lady does not enter so abruptly. Harsh. Our girl barely holds back a sigh. Seeing them in the flesh, they look even more sinister than they did in the game. That says a lot, considering they were already pretty terrifying there. Keeping her expression calm, she bows respectfully. Forgive me, she says with a polite smile. I simply came to inform you that I'll be leaving for the Duke's mansion today. I only wish to bid you farewell. Short. Polite. To the point. Now let's see how they take that. I already know it won't go down well with them. The obvious disdain on their faces says it all. The Countess eyes Jayna up and down, lips curling in disapproval. You expect to meet the Duke dressed like that? How humiliating. Our girl barely suppresses an eye roll. Of course this woman has a problem with her outfit. It's not unlike her to be hateful. But considering she doesn't own anything better, she simply shrugs. Well, whose fault is that, she says, tilting her head. You do know these rags are the only clothes I have, right? You could have gotten me better dresses, but you sit there and criticize my outfit. Silence. The Count rises to his feet, eyes widening in shock. He definitely didn't see that coming. The maids behind him freeze, exchanging nervous glances. Did she really just talk back to the Countess? Jayna, on the other hand, doesn't see the issue. She's simply stating the obvious. What, am I supposed to apologize for speaking facts? Before she can react, her father suddenly lunges forward, hand raised. Oh? We're doing this. She doesn't flinch. Instead, her lips curl into a mischievous smirk. Go ahead, she says smoothly. Hit me. Her father hesitates, but she doesn't stop there. But do keep in mind. What would the Grand Duke think if his bride arrived at his castle with a swollen face? The words strike like a well-aimed arrow. The Count stops mid-swing, his entire body stiffening. His hand trembles in the air, his face twisting with barely contained frustration. Jayna watches it all unfold with barely concealed amusement. Oh? What's wrong, dear father? Did reality finally catch up to you? She doesn't hold back. She drinks in his frustration, savoring every second of his helpless fury. Our female lead is practically washing it in his face. She's free and there's nothing he can do to change that. Because, for once in her life, he can't do a thing to her. Freedom at last. Two servants step in, carrying a neatly wrapped package. A gift from Count Altair, one of them announces. He sends his congratulations to Miss Jayna on her wedding. The Countess's brows shoot up in disbelief. Altair sent her a gift. She snatches the package and opens it, revealing an absolutely stunning coat. The fabric is exquisite, the craftsmanship flawless. It's expensive. You could probably sell it and buy a small house. Jayna's eyes light up. She's scheming something in her mind already. Oh my God. She knows this coat. In the game's original storyline, Jayna had left for the Duke's mansion wearing her drab, tattered dress because, surprise, surprise, her loving stepmother had stolen her wedding gift. The Countess is diabolic. But this isn't the original story anymore. She isn't the old Jayna. With zero hesitation, she strides forward and snatches the coat right out of the Countess's hands. I'll be taking this, she says sweetly, gripping it like it's the last piece of cake at a party. After all, it is my wedding gift. The Countess is stunned. She just stands there, jaw slack, completely thrown off by her stepdaughter's audacity. She didn't expect this too. Jayna, still smiling, gives her parents a final, oh so polite nod. Thank you for raising me, she says, pure insincerity dripping from every word. It's been an experience. One she wishes to forget the moment she's out of the door. And then, with zero hesitation, she spins around and slams the door behind her. The Count and Countess remain frozen in place, staring at the door like it just personally insulted their entire bloodline. They genuinely cannot process what just happened. In the carriage, our girl sits back, gazing out the window as the world rolls by. The scenery doesn't look all that different from Earth. Green fields, towering trees, rolling hills, everything feels strangely familiar, yet there's an unmistakable difference in the air. Definitely not Earth. In the game's lore, this world isn't Earth, it's Ellen, a land where all sorts of races coexist. Some live simple, quiet lives, while others spend their days messing with the arcane arts like it's a competitive sport. Magic here isn't some rare, mystical force, it's as normal as morning coffee. Mythical creatures roam freely, the supernatural is just part of the daily routine, and reality operates on a set of rules that would make a physicist cry. But not every corner of Ellen is built the same. Take Northern Saronia, the place Jayna is headed to. It's not exactly a tourist hotspot unless the goal is not making it back. They don't call it the Devil's Nest for nothing. With its lethal monsters, brutal landscape, and a general turn back while you still can vibe. It's the kind of place most people avoid like an expired carton of milk. But the real reason it's famous, or rather, infamous, is its ruler. Duke Theros Leokrana. The man. The myth. The walking nightmare. People whisper his name like it's a cursed spell, spreading stories about his terrifying reputation. Some say he's more beast than man. Others say he is a beast. Either way, folks steer clear of northern Saronia like it personally insulted their entire bloodline. And yet, for Jayna, this isn't a disaster. This isn't some tragic fate. This is the best thing that's ever happened to her. She grins to herself. Going to northern Saronia feels like a dream come true. The perfect opportunity to live a life of leisure, where she can do nothing but relax and let someone else handle all the hard work. She can already picture herself lounging in the Duke's mansion, probably with some pastries and a nice, warm blanket. Ah, the life. With a contented sigh, she leans back against the plush cushions of the carriage. Slacking off all day long. Yes, please. In an instant, the chariot comes to an abrupt stop, jerking our girl forward. She slams her face right into the seat in front of her. Oh! She groans, rubbing her nose, while the driver casually informs her they've arrived. And then, with zero grace, he tells her to get out. Well, that's rude. She clutches her briefcase, grumbling under her breath, as she steps out. And then, she sees it. The castle. It's like something straight out of a dark fantasy novel. The stone walls rise menacingly into the sky, surrounded by a dark, gloomy atmosphere. The place practically screams domain of a dark overlord. A castle shrouded in darkness. Definitely not the cozy dream home she imagined. Jayna pauses for a moment, squinting at the structure, unsure if she's at the right place. Is this really where she's supposed to be? She turns around to ask the driver if he's sure this is the place, but he's already gone. Without a word. Just zoomed off, as if she was some stray cat he picked up off the side of the road. She stands there for a second, dumbfounded. Did this guy really just leave me here? He dashes off with the carriage, paying no attention to her. The towering statues lining the castle entrance seem way creepier than she remembers from the game. She tilts her head, staring at them, half expecting one to blink. Were they always this menacing? She doesn't think so. In the game, they were imposing, sure, but this is straight out of a horror movie. The kind where the statues definitely aren't just statues. But, hey, it's fine. Totally fine. Nothing's going to stop her. She takes a deep breath, tightens her grip on her briefcase like it's a lifeline, and marches forward. This place might look like the set of Villain's Lair, Deluxe Edition, but she's here for a reason, and no amount of creepy decor is going to throw her off. Confidence in her step, determination in her heart, she walks straight toward the entrance, unfazed. High above, in his study, Duke Theros Leokrana sits behind his desk, going through an absolutely thrilling stack of paperwork. He's focused, sharp, the very picture of a man who definitely has better things to do than stamp approval forms all day. And yet, something shifts. He pauses, pen hovering over the page. Something feels off. He can't put his finger on it, but there's a disturbance. A ripple in the air. A presence. Something is here. Something new. It's as if something changes in the air. A feeling. A presence. Without missing a beat, he rises from his desk and strides to the window. His gaze falls on the figure below, our girl, strolling across the grounds with a sense of purpose and briefcase in hand. Huh? His eyes narrow slightly, a hint of curiosity flickering in them. He's not used to guests arriving in his castle, and he hadn't expected her to show up with such casual confidence, and for some reason, he feels something different about her. This isn't just any Jayna Blake, he thinks, his mind racing. She's different. The first encounter will definitely be interesting. Enjoying this story so far? Drop a comment showing your interest in a part 2, and also don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Until next time, adios.